We just got some massive Game Pass news. How do you feel about this new Xbox UI? PlayStation is out here stealing Xbox content, and yet another Xbox executive has quit. Let's discuss.
Just a reminder, if you take a look down at the description below, I have links for all sorts of Xbox gear. If you want to get in on this new generation of Xbox cloud gaming, I also have some links for some Samsung TVs that support the Xbox Game Pass app that they're coming out with.
And here to discuss with me for this special weekend edition of Xbox Ready is Jimmy Champagne back again.
Hello.
So this week has turned out to be a pretty interesting week, at least on our end. We have on display right here the new Elite Series 2 Core, the white mysterious controller. Got to check that out. I've been playing with it. The big question is this better built than the last Elite Series? Too soon to call, but I have been having fun playing around with this. And we got some really interesting news from today's Tokyo Game Show that we're going to get into later. So I'm actually glad that I have you here for this specific topic because
today. You're
just
usually
today.
not.
Usually I can't stand this guy. No, but I'm glad that I have you here for this topic because you have a lot more experience playing on PC and then playing on Steam Deck than I do, and have a lot more experience specifically with the Xbox app on PC.
Oh boy, do I.
So the past couple weeks, Xbox has rolled out a lot of updates. A lot of them have been console specific. There's been some crossover between PC and the mobile app, things
Discord
like that.
is available now, right?
Discord is available now.
Nice.
You can access voice calls on your
Thanks
Xbox
for paying
console.
for that, Sony.
There we go.
Real smart.
You know, it's not as smooth as I originally thought it would be. You have to set up the
It
call
works.
on your mobile device or your PC and then transfer the call.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. Like, it would be kind of tough to navigate into a server, right? On like your Xbox dashboard.
That's the end goal, hopefully. Maybe we'll see that in
At
like
least you can do
2023
it.
and beyond.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is nice. It works very well, very seamless, very convenient. But yeah, we just got an update to the PC Xbox app.
It's a solid update. They say there's performance improvements, which like I'll believe it when I see it because every feature they add seems to make that app run worse. But one cool thing they added is the HowLongToBeat integration. So if you go to a game in the app, you can see how long it's going to take you to beat it, which is cool.
Again, it's like these features are not like the internet breaking features that people, are clamoring for, but they've been coming out with some very clever ones, including this.
Yeah, you know what? I use this website all the time, and I would say they got like a 70% accuracy rating. Like sometimes they'll be like, this game's 10 hours and it actually takes 30 or 40, but most of the time they're on point. So I think this is actually good integration. It kind of reminds me of that other feature they added where you can see how well the game's going to run on your PC. I think that's supposed to be pretty accurate too.
It is for most of the games, I will say. And they also mentioned that they put in performance improvements, which would lead to potentially faster downloading time. I think we can all agree that the Xbox app on PC serves its function, sure, but it's not a home run, and that's what it needs to be going forward.
Yeah.
If they want to stay true to this mantra of theirs, play anywhere, have options to play on PC, cloud, or console. So yeah, I appreciate the work that they're doing. Hopefully they can build it up to the point where it is that home run that I'm talking about. So you may have missed this. It's Thursday the 15th, but at 2 a.m. my time, Xbox actually had a show. They actually had an event. They were at Tokyo Game Show.
The art was really cool. It had like Mount Fuji on it.
And it turned out to be a pretty solid show for Xbox, especially for Game Pass. So let's start off with the big news. Let's talk about Deathloop. Now, Deathloop was seen floating around on the Microsoft Store prior to the show this morning, but at the show, they officially came out and they're like, bam, Deathloop's coming on the 20th to Xbox consoles. It's coming to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and it's getting the update that they're adding in, the Golden Loop update, baby.
Yes, very excited for this. It was one of those updates where I was like reading it and I was like, this is all right. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. So they're also updating the multiplayer mode and giving it crossplay. That is something I did not really enjoy. So it's cool that they're adding it. I don't think people are going to dive in.
Go across the aisle, play with PS4 players.
It's such a cool idea. In execution, it doesn't really work as well as it should. There's not a lot of balancing in the matchmaking. So you'll either just like get stomped immediately or you'll stomp the other person. There's no like extended matches. It's more of an annoyance than anything.
Either way, it really relieved a lot of anxiety for me that they came out and confirmed that Deathloop was coming. The month of September for Game Pass goes from being like, we got the full release of Grounded and that's about it, to like, oh, you have Deathloop. And that holds you over to the month of October, which we're going to see a lot of strong titles coming to Game Pass.
No matter what, you have no excuse not to play it now because it's not only on Game Pass, it's also on PS Plus for free. Just play it. It's so good.
For free. On top of that, today on the 15th, we also got Assassin's Creed Odyssey coming to the service.
That game gets a lot of hate. Out of all these games, like Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, the only one I beat was Odyssey. And I thought it was pretty good.
I haven't gotten around to playing it. I'm halfway through Origins. I keep going back to it in between all these other games. But it seems to be like the relationship with Ubisoft is there. You know, they added Origins. They added Odyssey at this point. I'm safe to assume probably that sometime in the future they might add Valhalla to Game Pass. And we've seen that with the Far Cry games. They have Far Cry 5 on there right now. Maybe we'll see Far Cry 6 coming in the near future. So yeah, for anyone who's still interested in Assassin's Creed in those games, it's nice to see that they're finally making their way to Game Pass.
Yeah, that is cool because it's a lot of content there, right? Like that makes your $15 a month worth it if you're playing a game that's 100 hours. And Assassin's Creed Valhalla is getting its like final chapter that'll apparently round out the story. So I would expect that to show up there pretty soon as well.
Yeah, and it makes sense because right now a lot of people are talking about Assassin's Creed with the Ubisoft Forward event that they just had where they announced Project Jade, Mirage, Hex.
That one looks cool.
Red.
I thought it was going to be Salem Witch Trials and I was super excited, but it's European Witch Trials. It still look cool. I like the Assassin's Creed logo made out of sticks.
Nice. Again, strong month. I've said this a million times over, but in October, we're getting Persona 5 Royal that we saw the trailer for at Tokyo Game Show, and we're getting Plague Tale Requiem. I just beat Innocent, so I'm really psyched about that. And we're getting Scorn. High on Life was supposed to come to Game Pass in October, but it got pushed back, which
fine.
might work out better for them because they're adding all these other games in October. Tokyo Game Show in the past for Xbox has been like, oh, Scarlet Nexus is coming to Xbox Game Pass, and oh, this like update to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I feel like they really took it well to the next step. I feel like they had to, honestly, because obviously it's a little bit slow for Xbox Game Studios going into the fall, especially with Ragnarok looming on the PS5. So I feel like they had to do something to make up for that, and I feel like this is pretty solid. I'm excited for Guilty Gear to come in 2023 to Xbox Game Pass. It kind of validates this narrative that we've been hearing from Microsoft that their presence in Japan is increasing, and we're seeing these titles come to not only Xbox, but Game Pass as well. It's very encouraging. Speaking of Deathloop timed exclusivity, I just was laughing to myself at the state of play when they were showing off Hogwarts Legacy. They showed off that PlayStation exclusive quest, the Haunted Hogsmeade.
Yeah, dude. Even I am like, with the quest thing, I'm like, why? What is the point?
And then they were like, don't worry, it's coming to other consoles. Don't worry, guys, if you pick
then
up.
Then why do it?
They're like,
why do it?
But what killed me was that it was exactly a year from when the game launches.
These
just like Deathloop.
At Sony, man, they can't be stopped. They did this with Avengers, right? With Spider-Man, they're like, we're gonna hold back the mediocre bunk Spider-Man from everyone in the Marvel's
Spider-Man
Avengers.
from Wish.com, bro. Like, what? They dropped the ball on that so
Universal
hard.
Studios Spider-Man.
Just another day being Spider-Man.
I don't know. I get it. They used to do this with Assassin's Creed games. Do you remember that in the PS3 generation? Like Assassin's Creed 3, they would time it. They would say 2 hours of extra content or whatever on the PS3 version of Assassin's Creed 3. That was like a thing, and I was like, that's awesome, dude. And then it's always just some dumb side quest that doesn't even matter.
Yeah, or it used to be like just cosmetics. Like if you bought the PlayStation version of that Soul Calibur game, that you got Darth Vader, and if you got the Xbox One, it was Yoda. You know, it's just like small stuff like that.
Do you remember SSX Tricky? That had a completely different version on PS2 than it did Xbox. That was kind of weird.
I spent a lot of time renting that from Blockbuster and playing it all over again.
And then you saw Jim Ryan came out again today and was like, yeah, this would really detrimentally hurt us if Xbox got Call of Duty. He's going at it again.
And then he was like, check out all the stuff on Call of Duty that you can only play on PlayStation. It was like a bunch of like, because they had the Call of Duty showcase.
And the beta's out on PlayStation now too.
So it's like only on PlayStation with this Call of Duty stuff. But if it's exclusive to another console, that would really suck. I wish they don't do that.
I wish Sony would just buy Square Enix already, so we could stop having this conversation of, Final Fantasy VII, how does it compare to Call of Duty? Spoilers, it doesn't, but that's fine.
So right now, the hot topic in the Xbox community and amongst the Xbox influencers is this new look dashboard they're testing out to select Xbox insiders.
It's like out there.
It's out there, but only in the insider builds.
Have people leaked it?
We've seen some pictures of it, and we've seen a lot more concepts of like, I think this is what the dashboard should look like. Where do you stand on the current state of dashboard dashboard politics. And what would you like to see?
Man, I'm just going to be real. I don't want to give Sony too much credit here because I feel like they absolutely nailed it with the PS4 and then they just overcomplicated it for no reason with the PS5. I'm more used to the PS5 because it's very similar to the PS4. I just feel like between Windows 11 and Xbox's dashboard, it's just confusing. Confusing is the word I would use. Like getting to settings even. I had to like pin the settings app to a folder in my little Xbox button menu just to get to the settings app. It's like, why is settings a separate app? Why is it not just like a tab on the menu that you can get to? It's weird little things like that. But Sony is way worse with advertisements. You turn on your PS5, you got Fortnite right there. You got She-Hulk right there. It's like,
right, because they're trying to push like Sony Studios and their music and stuff. Yeah.
Whereas Xbox, they do have ads for sure, but they're in like one small tile. Like that's how people found Deathloop early.
I don't find the Xbox dashboard as it is offensive. Not a lot of things in the video game industry.
Yeah, I love the motion backgrounds. I think that's a cool thing that Sony doesn't have right now.
The motion backgrounds, and it's
I've
like
got the grounded one on.
In an attempt to kind of showcase all the different facets that Xbox has going on right now, they just put too much stuff.
I agree.
It's like you have to like scroll all the way down to like see your friends tab. I mean, you can arrange it and you can tend like I don't need this, so I'm gonna take it out. But like there should be a more straightforward, intuitive way.
Why are my games on my Xbox not the first thing I see when I turn it on? It's weird stuff like that, where it's like I have to go to the My Games and Apps menu to get to my games, which is the whole reason I'm theoretically turning on my Xbox.
That's where I liked the official image that Xbox put out on the wire because it was game centric and the tiles were a little bit too big for me. It was blocking that Master Chief background, and I talked about this in the previous video, but it was game centric. There have been some other YouTubers and some other media outlets complaining about, or they're a little bit wary about how prominent Game Pass is featured in the UI and this new look UI. Kotaku even said that it could potentially be shoved down our throat.
I'm shocked they don't feel like it is already. I feel like it's the only thing they advertise. Like, not that that's a bad thing, that's their focus. I just feel like, like that's Xbox now is Game Pass. Like they're synonymous. I feel like they never advertise that you can just buy games anymore.
Every now and then they'll be like, advertising a sale that's going on in the store and stuff.
For sure.
But if you are one of those people who are in the insider build, if you have concerns or maybe thoughts of the direction on how this dashboard should be handled, tweet at Xbox, let them know, because this is something they're actively looking for feedback on from their base. Let's end the video on a little bit of bad news. We have, so you know how a couple of weeks ago, hashtag Fire 343 was trending because they released that roadmap that just pissed a lot of people off. They pushed season 2 to 2023. Egregious. They delayed Forge
Egregious.
mode. And then they came out and said, you know how you've been waiting for campaign co-op? Yeah, there's not going to be split screen. It's going to be online only. So this feature that you can have on every other Halo game up until this point, split screen couch co-op,
it's in the game. Like Digital Foundry just did a video. You can get to it with that glitch still, and it doesn't brick your Xbox anymore. So Digital Foundry did it, and they said it's a great experience as is. And I guarantee you the reason it's not making it is because they have to support the Xbox One.
Egregious. Straight up. So that was trending. Everyone's upset. Everyone's poo-pooing on Halo Infinite, which I feel really bad for.
I know, because it's like a good platform. Like they had goodwill.
They squandered it, and I did enjoy the game when I was playing it.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And I played a lot with friends, so that brought back a lot of good memories of the good old days playing on Xbox Live Gold at the 360 Halo 3 era. And amidst all that, the Vice President Bonnie Ross decided to step down, and that sparked a lot of speculation of, 343, they fired her, or Xbox fired her, they forced her out, and there was a big leadership change with a lot of leadership being shuffled around. And Windows Central just recently put out this report saying yet another exec has stepped down, quit, whatever. His name is David Berger, and he was the lead on the Slip Space engine design that they use in Halo Infinite.
That's great. The brand new engine, they spent most of the development time fixing and stuff and getting ready. They don't have the lead engineer on it.
We're a year almost of this game being out, and it's not working in the way that they advertise and the way that they promise. The bare bones is there. The more you play the campaign, the more it feels a little empty, a little whack. But the multiplayer aspect is there.
Front loaded.
And so we were promised when this is, okay, you know, we don't have campaign co-op, we don't have Forge. It's a live service game. We're going to have regular updates to this game. And so that had me dreaming, oh, they're going to add like single player DLC. They're going to be adding all these different game modes and multiplayer. I think something has to happen where they have to, okay, this is not working for whatever reason. And especially, I don't know the reason because I don't work in game development. I'm just a video game fan and
sucks
commentator.
Because like the core gameplay, the weapon feel, the art style, the traversal, all of that is just like so good. It feels like right up there with Doom Eternal as like some of my favorite traversal in any first-person shooter pretty much ever. And it's just like, you've got the core, you've got the base. I just don't get what the holdup is on making the actual content to use that, like that feature set in.
Yeah, I mean, we can point to a lot of things that have been happening in the world that may have tripped up video game development. I know that they've been trying to go hard with the anti-crunch culture, so maybe they're trying to figure out the new workflow with that.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. It's been a lot of bad news back to back. It's clear that they need some sort of shakeup. They need some sort of approach to save this franchise, put it on track. Because like you said, it should be the #1 shooter right now. It's Halo, Microsoft, Xbox. It should be #1, and it's far from that.